Dr. Umar, what you say, what you say. A lot of times we disagree, a lot of times we agree. This topic is on black women and why do some snow bunnies, as he say, get the black man. This is the topic we are having today. This is the discussion we're having today. This is Zell's theory, and I am Zell May. For 1 second, before we get this theory started, can y'all please go in the comments and give a alpha a what? Sam. Let's get started. It's your boy Alpha Zell May, and we're talking about Dr. Umar and his thoughts on this podcast. By the way, great podcast. We're only going to do a minute of it. It's a great discussion. There's more to it. This is just a small clip. And I do want to know your thoughts on this. We're just going to get his opinion. She has another opinion, which y'all can go watch the video because that'd be unfair for me to actually put on here. But Dr. Umar says,
A big difference between the snow bunny and the African queen is the snow bunny will find a black man in progress. She will find him on the job. She will find him on the university. And that snow bunny will see a black man with potential and she will invest in him.
by the way, I agree with this. I agree with it. He gonna get into some other things later that I want to also touch on, and which why I agree with this. But I've noticed that the star athlete, even if they fail and not be the star athlete, in my school, it was about predominantly white, but we had a bunch of black kids from Turner Chapel and all that stuff from my neighborhood. And oftentimes the white girl would find the high school kid in 10th grade that just hit a growth spurt, who just hit a growth spurt. He just got 6'3", and they would date him when he was just a little dude who nobody cared about. Or the guy who's just now starting, they will find him and they would invest in him, and they be like, yo, listen, they will invite him to family functions and dinners. They will have pool parties and all kind of stuff. They will encourage him and all of this stuff, which leads them to be which leads to loyalty. Why? Because let's be real, as black people, we tend not to have a feeling of loyalty, even among black women and black men. That's why so many problems are having right now. We are having in our community is because we have a lack of trust because so much has been done wrong, and oftentimes it leads to other bunch of other things that we can get into, whether wanting to be like the white man or whatever in that case, or trying to prove something to somebody or trying to be so different that we discourage intelligence. For instance, one of the big ones we always have in our community is, oh, you're talking white, even though technically no one talks white. It's not a certain dialect. I lived in Mississippi. Mississippi, however you want to say it. If you're from Mississippi, just say Mississippi or Mississippi. I'm from that area. No one talks proper. But for some reason, if you did talk proper, aka my brother or whatever, they would say you're talking white. Then I asked the question, who you know talk like that? Who do you know among our peers in a predominantly white school talk like that? They say no one. I'm like, how does he talk white then? He talked like the presented white people on television. We have an inferiority complex, and when somebody gives us attention, that's the basis of me, because it sounds like I'm meandering, but we have an inferiority complex, and when somebody gives us attention, we seek it and it validates us and we stay loyal to it. So when they find you, when, as you heard Dennis Rodman say, no one wanted you, you are more encouraged. You are more encouraged to stay with them. And I said, you can see the door right there. That's the door right there. I'm moving soon, so I'm gonna be fine. Don't ignore the background. We do got the light though. This is nice though. This is nice. Wait till you see the next one. Wait till you see. But get back to Dr. Umar.
She will help him level up. And then when the sister see him 5 years ago, 5 years later, he's a millionaire. And the sister say, look at that sellout. He went and got a white girl. But guess what? When he was looking for a sister to help him level up, to invest in him. None of them wanted it. You know why? Too many black women want a finished product.
I agree with this, and that's mostly with the educated, highly educated, by the way, not just. It's the I don't want to settle thing. I always hated the word settle. I do. I hate the word settle because it sounds like I'm at a higher level than you. I prefer the word standards. You have to reach a certain altitude when I'm at to at least have a projection of altitude. I'm okay with it. But to say settling, it demeans people to me. I hate that word because it sounds like you're better. You're not. You're just a human being just like everybody else. You just have a degree. I have a degree. I don't think my degree's up there. It'll be probably my next spot. But I have a degree. So what? I have doctorates. My brother's a doctorate. We all have multiple degrees. I have helped multiple people get degrees. It's not a big deal to me. But I get it. Like, listen, I need you to at least project forward. I cannot be the man in a relationship and you be. That's trauma too. From seeing it in neighborhoods, in the hood, you see like a Pookie and a Ray Ray, and you're like, I don't want that. Whereas other black women will take a Pookie and a Ray Ray. They will live with them, take care of them, all that stuff. They might not have the degree function, but they will take care of them. And most people are like, I don't want to live like that, taking care of a grown man in my house, playing video games with my kids. It's not a consistent thing, but again, once you elevate to like either I want the highest or I won't, or and I don't settle for the lowest, it's a lot in that middle that you don't see, and it's hard to see potential when you're not focused on potential. You know what I mean? Like, because it's harder for me to. It's hard. I feel like it's harder for black women to discover potential because they either settle for the bottom feeders or they settle for the try to get the highest. When as Dr. Umar said, the highest has already got loyal to a said group. That's just my thoughts. But them other groups, Hispanic women, white women, they find them. Travis Hunter, y'all see it with Travis Hunter. No hate to my brother, but that's the same. That's a similar situation. You know what I mean? Let's keep it to you.
Black
I
women have to stay with
disagree.
me. Black women have to stop expecting men to be a finished product. It's harder on us. Help him level
But
up.
what
Stay with me. Help him level up and become what you need him to be. Because the big reason why these snow bunnies are running off with black men is they're meeting them when they have nothing, but they believe in their vision. And black women are waiting for him to cross the finish line. And by the time he crosses the finish line, the snow bunny done snatched him already.
I just
Well, I know that's true, and but the problem is that's mostly entertainment and actors. To be fair, to be a fun fact, successful black men, I know it's gonna argue. Well, at least 5 years ago, I don't know what it is now. It might have switched, but successful black men tend to marry black. They have. So y'all can see the TikTok. Let's get that. That's the unreleased clips. Shout out to them. But they tend to marry black even more so than black women that make over 150K, 200K, something like that. Black men are more likely to date black women that way. However, I don't know if it might change once you reach a certain million percentage, but I don't. But I know once you start hitting higher tiers of wealth, black men tend to marry more so their own race. So that's an interesting fact. Even though that tier below might date more out of the race, and including poor black men. Black women date marry black men more than black men marry black women. But we're just talking about a higher rate, right? But that was it was in 2015, 16. I do not know what it is now. Y'all can comment, put it in the category, and let me know if that's true. Still today, I did not look it up when I saw this video. I just want to do a quick video on this. But again, it's like a lack of trust, hurt, um, not particularly trained to be a wife as some. It's interesting when I say this because it's going to be weird because a lot of times black mothers are a lot of times thanks to society and all that, it's a deeper conversation I want to have. So we might have it. Just let me know, like and subscribe if you want me to have this conversation. But black men go to jail. Black men are characterized, put in these situations in which the hood kind of lead them somewhere. And oftentimes it lead to single parent homes. By the time, like I say, you get a Pookie and Ray Ray and they get lazy and they just leave. So it's like a multitude of problems that black men cause that lead to black women having to be black men in certain situations. Certain times they can't be men, but they have to take up roles in ways to be black men. So it's kind of harder to train someone how to be a wife when you have to do everything, right? Whereas a typically, as we see, white women typically get married younger. Well, in my experience, I don't have stats on that, even though, but they typically seem in my area at least to get married younger, have a family, be able to take care of their family and train their kids to be a wife. And let's be honest, a guy told me at the VA, train them to find you a rich man, and this how you wife them up. The trad wife, typically, right? How you get a rich man, how you please them. In which they also create the stereotypes of angry black woman, and then kind of hints at you societally that you don't want that. You don't want the black woman who had to go through it because they're wearisome to you. So society also places that on the black woman, which also leads them to other societal norms in which you might find another group of women more palatable, I should say. So, like I said, it's a lot of societal things, a lot of things with how black men are perceived as well. So it's a lot going on. That's going to take. I don't want this video to be an hour long. I just want to say, do you agree or disagree with Dr. Umar? Do you think that's what they are? Like I said, I do agree because I think they're trained more to seek that out. I do. I think they're trained more to seek it out. I think they're trained more to what appeases men that they have figured out in their life, whereas a black woman is trying to survive in a world that probably set them in a not probably did set them in an unfair environment because they set the black man in an unfair environment for a long time. No excuses, but people are like, oh, you're freer now, but I mean, majority of black people live in low income areas. Why? Because once you came out of slavery, you went into Jim Crow. When you went into Jim Crow, you didn't have much because, like, my daddy was a sharecropper. That's how long ago it was. So now my cousin is the first person to get a degree, and like my family is like the third or fourth in our family, and I'm only we only 30s, and that's how long ago the generation of first educated people are. So it's not like an excuse; it's a truth. You can accept it and be upset about it, but when your family has had education or businesses or plan like land for 100, 200 years, and then black people just get it 30 or 40 years ago, you're 100 and some years ahead. And then you have the war on drugs, stereotypes, put them in jail, the pipeline to jail, a lack of education. Somehow you got the red pill people telling people not to get degrees. I do think more people need to go in trade school, but I don't think it should be to the level y'all say because that also lowers trade school, right? If everybody becomes a carpenter, the pool of pay in the carpentry is gonna go lower because you have so many to choose from that you have to compete business wise. But listen, we going into a bunch of other stuff. Society is different. Listen, I'm looking over my fence, judging, thinking. I do appreciate y'all for watching. Hope I didn't talk too fast. I'm trying to be intentional in my words. So, as y'all know, we got two things for you to know. You got a question, like and subscribe. Also,